Here we are at Shaldon Wildlife Trust, which is the smallest zoo in the UK, but amazingly has slender lorises, Bengal slow loris, and pygmy loris, the northern pygmy loris. And this is Zach Shal, who's the director, and he's going to show us today how to create gum for lorises. This is not an enrichment, this is their main food that they eat, and it's really important that anyone keeping them in captivity or at a rescue centre knows how to present the gum, how to make the gum, and what's in the gum and the types of gum available. So I'm going to hand over to Zach.
Thank you very, very much, Anna. So here at Shaldon Wildlife Trust, we typically feed two different types of gum. So we have a powdered gum, and this is gum Arabic. This is probably the most readily available powdered gum we can get here in the UK. And we can also use a crystal version, which is also gum Arabic. So these are two different forms that we can provide to our loris and other exudate feeding animals that we have at the zoo. So the one that we use the most is the powdered one. Really, really easy to make up. What we can do is just get some out into a jug or anything you've got, a cup, a bowl. And we'll, for instance, just put two of those in now. And then you can put some water in. Now you can mix it up to whatever consistency you want, but here at the Trust, we typically do a 2-to-1 ratio. So 2 amounts of water to 1 part of the gum. And we just use a syringe just so we have a little bit of control over it. So don't put all your water in first, put some of it in and mix it up. If you put it all in first, it tends to not mix as evenly. And that's come out quite a thin gum. You could make it much, much thicker. Obviously the tree sap in the wild is really sticky and thick. So we can just leave that for a second and I'll show you what we do with our solid gum. So this is one of our gum feeding logs. It's just a branch, and with us we've put an ability to just hook it up into an enclosure on a branch or a hook, and in these holes we can place some of our solid gum. The joy of the solid gum is it comes in lots of different shapes and sizes, so you tend to have to find a piece that will fit into one of your holes. So you can find a piece that will fit in. That's quite a big bit. We'd usually use a smaller bit. We just use a mallet. That's more firmly in now. We could hang that up in an enclosure and a loris could come down and feed on that piece of gum there. So that's really simple. All you need is a drill, a piece of wood and a way to fix it up. Now with our liquid gum, now that it's set a little bit more, you can see that it's kind of gone a little bit more even. We can draw this up in a syringe, which is sometimes a little bit harder to do when it's quite thick. And there's lots of different ways that you could feed this out. The simplest way to feed it out would be a cup. So obviously this isn't very enriching, but very simply you could put the amount of gum you want to use into that cup, place it into the enclosure and the animal could feed from it. Very, very simple, very quick to do. You could also do something a little bit more different. So this is just a piece of bamboo with some string. You could put some gum into there and you could put that straight in. So this has actually got it so it hangs. Or you could put that in the freezer and let the gum harden up, and that's going to be much more challenging for the animals. Rather than a liquid, it's going to be a lot harder for them to get at. We also have our gum logs. So these are like our larger ones, but these have much smaller holes drilled in, and similarly you'd be able to inject into these as much or as little as you like. Hang it up in your enclosure and you will find that your loris climb down onto them and really work on this, and you can see there has been some gouging behaviour on here where the animals have exhibited completely natural behaviour to get to the gum in there. Another one, again a little bit more complicated. I actually saw this at Bristol Zoo. This is some split bamboo, and you could put your gum into here, and this is going to challenge the animals a little bit more to have to work in to get into here, and you could place that in an enclosure, hang it up, whatever you want to do. And We've been working a lot on verticals with these logs. You could do a horizontal one. So we've done this with some of our tamarins. So similarly, you could put your gum into here and you could have this flat in an enclosure, but I have put an eyelet up here so you could actually hang it up, and I've put some holes that are more angled that you could put gum into there, hang that up in an enclosure, and the animals would have to work around getting onto this. So you could have it hanging, and that's really going to challenge them using a lot of muscles to be able to get to their favourite food, essentially. So that's all the different ways that we can provision gum here at Shaldon Wildlife Trust. As you can see, I've done that in a couple of minutes. It hasn't taken much time, very few things. All of this stuff was lying around. So some bamboo, a bit of wood, logs, things that any zookeeper and anyone working in a rescue centre should hopefully be able to find.